Welcome to my channel, and welcome to this special layout design mini-series, From Town to Railroad to Layout. In this series, we're going to design an entire N-scale layout based on a prototype railroad. In the previous video, we dissected the town of Coltrane. We reviewed all the elements and allocated all the tracks. In this video, we're going to see what else is up the branch line from Coltrane and generate some traffic and look at traffic patterns. And in the last part of the series, we're going to design an N-scale layout that fits in a one-bay garage, including all of these elements. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss a single spike or tie. Let's get started. From the town of Coltrane departs the Polar Bear Express to Moosonee. Let's have a look at this line, as it has a lot of nice elements, and also the town of Moosonee has a lot of interesting features to model. So let's just go through the details now and see what there is to model, what are the highlights of the line, what are the features, and how we can incorporate that into the layout. So the very first thing could actually be something as simple as a spur like this. I guess the spur is here back in the old days to build this dam, but a feature could be as well a crossing, as you see here. Because I think the Polar Bear Express stops at any place that you request, so it could be here, this crossing with the road. Let's carry on from here. One note I do want to make, you can model exactly this wetland type of terrain, but I'm not going to. I want something that's a little bit more lush. That's all fine. We're just going to take this railroad data and then make it all into our own blend and our own layout. So moving on, here we come to Fraserdale. These Google Earth images are made in the winter, so let's move to the map view. What you see here is a classical industry yard. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, please see my video number 49, where we go through all the different types of yards and track plans that coincide with that. So there are some spurs on the left, there's a Y to do a reversal, and some buildings in a small town. So why is this here? Well, it serves the now substation for the power plant. So here we see the substation on Google Earth, and I guess back in the day, the line used to continue here on this 634 highway to build the actual dam itself. So I put the node interchange here because on my own railroad, I want to generate some more traffic. I'm going to make this an interchange. More on that later. Let's continue. Now we come to an interesting logging operation area at Auto Rapids. So let me just rotate the camera a bit. And you see this is a very large logging operation. So we see another dam here in the south. Let me just go to the map view. Here is a siding that's important to note. It's quite a key feature. Some building structures for the logging camp, and these are the spurs that are drawn onto it. But if we look at the Google Earth view, you see that there were a lot of tracks here before. Here on the left, but none of this is there anymore today. So that also raises the question, which era do you want to model, and what is your interest? And if your interest is old-time logging activities, well, you can eat your heart out with this section right here. So let's move on. This is noted. There's a logging camp. A bit down the line, there is a Y. I don't know why the Y is there. Perhaps because they needed a bit more flat and stable landscape to build it. And note also next to the Y is some kind of house or building or structure. So that could be an interesting detail to model. Now you want to look at the line to some key features as we move way up. So a key feature could be this bridge. I think it's the largest one on the line. Let's see if we have the space for that. So moving on to the last but certainly not least is the town of Moosonee. Quite a long stretch up to the north, and we dive straight into the nice wintry frozen Google Earth images. So let me switch again to map view so we can actually see something. So here is the town, and here is a nice yard with the station attached, and there's a lot of actioning happening in Moosonee. So let's first get a feel of what the station looks like. It's not that big. You see it in winter, and here you see it in spring. And again, you don't have to model this exact style. You can make this a very nice, picturesque, small station in the Victorian style architecture. Now moving on, we have some industry tracks and spurs. Let's see what that looks like. The Google Street View car. Here we see it. Canada, Heart, and don't know what that is. And here we see just a basic siding for offloading and storage of goods. If we move down the line a bit, you see there's a ramp for perhaps trucks and cars and other equipment that you can roll on and off to rail cars. That would be a nice feature to model as well. So let's continue down the line. There's an entire siding here just before the Y, and then there is the Y itself. And then here on the right, there are some storage tracks / industry tracks. And then there's two sidings that go into the city itself. And the north one is connected to various industries, and the south one is actually a harbor scene / harbor location. You can see the same if we look at the Google Earth images. Here you can see the rail cars on the north siding parked next to the industries, and on the south you see some rail cars ready next to the port. So continuing on after the Y, there is a small spur here as well for some industry. Can't really see what that is on the Earth view. And then here is the airport. So as you see, Moosonee has a lot to offer. So let's put all this in a diagram. You know, I like diagrams by now. So here are the most important elements that I want to take along to the railroad and that I think we will have some space for. So here we have a Fraserdale. I'm going to add a transfer to this, so a transfer to another railroad where we can transfer cars. I'll come back to that in a minute. Then we have this massive lumber yard. Also, Otter Rapids is here. The dam. The dam is really close to the railroad, so it would be nice if we can model that. And then last but certainly not least is Moosonee with all the industries, an airport, and also a seaport. So this is going to be the line diagram of the railroad. So how cool is that in these two videos we zoomed into Coltrane and we built this enormously complex looking line diagram, and then we zoomed out to see the entire branch, and now we came to this plan of the branch. As you see, it's not that difficult, but I promised you one more step for this video, so here we go. Let's look at some traffic. So first off, we have east-west freight trains that will drop off and pick up cars here in Coltrane. Then we have east-west through traffic. They just go through Coltrane. They don't stop at all. Then we have east-west passenger trains. So again, they go through Coltrane and they drop off and pick up passengers and folks that are there waiting. And now it gets interesting. We're going to look at our little branch line here. First off, I'm going to add these two little runs. Here on the right, we have a transfer run. This is a train that goes to the transfer, picks up cars, and brings it to the Coltrane yard for further distribution. So why do I want to add this transfer specifically? Well, because a transfer can receive any type of car, and that car does not have to be used on your layout. So it can be for any type of industry that's not even relevant for your layout. So as an example, if this transfer connects to Railroad X, and then Railroad Z is here eastbound, then the car has to go from Railroad X. It's going to be picked up by this transfer, then spotted here at Coltrane and sorted and classified to be picked up by Railroad Z to go eastbound. So secondly, I want to add this lumber run as well, because this can be an extra job on the railroad. If you have another friend joining in, they can start the lumber run by departing from Moosonee with perhaps a shay or some other small switching locomotive, switch the lumber yard, move that around, spot some cars, pick up some cars, and then add back to Moosonee. Especially if you use a shay locomotive, this will take a long time. And also it will clog up the railroad a bit, which is fun because it will generate some nice problems to solve. So here we go on again. Then the second train is the local. This stops at all the relevant intermediate stations along the line, picks up cars, spots cars, and then heads back to the line as well. Then we have the passenger local. This is the same as the freight local, but with passenger cars. And then there is the Moosonee turn. So this will go straight from Coltrane, skip all the sidings, then go to Moosonee, and head back to Coltrane. So one important thing to note, the transfer run, local, passenger local, and the Moosonee turn all originate and terminate in Coltrane. Why? Well, because we have a terminal there, and we don't have a terminal in Moosonee. Only the lumber run originates in Moosonee, so there will be one small locomotive there, and there will probably be a extra switcher in Moosonee to classify all the cars for the Moosonee turn, do the local switching of the industries, the airport, and the seaport there. So that's it. Let's wrap up here. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum. So wow, what a journey this is already in episode number 2. Biggest challenge is yet to come. We're going to squeeze and fit and sit on this track plan until it fits into a 1-bay car garage, being in N scale. That will have to wait until the next video. Thank you all for watching, as it is you, the viewer, that makes this channel for what it is. Also, do have a look at my Patreon page, where all this information will be made readily available for you, and where you can support this channel if you want to see more entertaining and informative videos just like this. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.